there are times, you see, when a country need to measure its leadership, especially after a crisis, when the winds have howled, the rivers have risen, and ordinary people are forced to confront extraordinary loss. Jamaica has lived through those moments, you know. We have seen zinc sheets torn like paper. We have seen families standing where their homes once stood, holding nothing but memory and hope. We have seen farmers across flattened fields wondering how to begin again. These are not statistics. These are lives interrupted. And yet, what defines us is not the storm. It's not the storm that defines us. It is what follows. Because in the aftermath, something powerful has been unfolding across the island. Through the government's roof program, more than $10 billion has been distributed to help Jamaicans. Quite literally, these people are being helped to put their lives back. And that is not an abstract figure. That is the mother in St. Mary who no longer has to choose between shelter and dignity. That is the elderly man over in Clarendon who can now sleep through the night without fearing that rain is going to wet up his bed. That is the quiet, stubborn rebuilding of normalcy. Plyboard by plyboard, nail by nail, zinc by zinc. That is what recovery looks like when it is real. And at the center of this effort stands Andrew Holness. And he's not merely managing a response, but attempting something deeper. A shift how Jamaica understands resilience itself. Because if we are to be honest, recovery in Jamaica has always been our paradox. But we are a strong people. And we have often been forced to start over from scratch. We endure, but we build and we rebuild in vulnerability. We survived, but we remain exposed. And so the introduction of the NARA bill, the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, is an attempt to break that cycle. It's not just about policy. It is about structure. It asks a difficult but necessary question. What if recovery was not reactive? What if we were prepared? What if rebuilding was not temporary, but transformative? What if resilience was not a slogan, but a system? But there's a dangerous thing that happens in public discourse. Who is talking about Nara? There's a dangerous thing that happens in public discourse, especially after a national crisis. And it is that noise begins to masquerade as truth. On one side, you hear collapse. On the other, you hear triumph. And somewhere in between lies reality. The quiet, complex, and measurable reality. So let's do something rare tonight. Let me take you outside the politics and ask a harder, more disciplined question. Let me ask you tonight, how do we actually judge a country's recovery after a disaster? How do you judge it? When you listen to the opposition yesterday, what impression did you get about the recovery effort that is taking place in Jamaica? How did you feel about Jamaica after listening to them? Listen to Miss Burchell from the People's National Party.
Assessment database. We are deep rural constituents, says, and therefore when a hurricane strikes and your home is destroyed, you can't stay there. So the Ministry of Labor can't say, we went to your house and you weren't there. Of course we weren't there. There's no house. Of course we weren't there. We have to be catching with a neighbor. Of course we weren't there. We work in the city. Deep rural constituencies require more care and a better understanding of how we operate. We need a town crier to come into the communities to announce the dates when these representatives from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is coming around so we can make ourselves available. We also require posters to be printed. They do it when it is politics time. Print some posters.
You heard that? They do it. They do it when it is politics time. It's only the Jamaica Labour Party print posters. PNP no print none. It's only the Jamaica Labour Party send around town criers. The PNP don't send none. They do it when it is politics time. Listen again.
Do it when it is politics time. Make ourselves available. We also require posters to be printed. They do it when it is politics time. Print some posters, put.
They do it when it is politics time. Not we, they.
Put it on the shop phaser, put it on the light poles so people can know where they can get relief. And for God's sake, please stop directing constituents from the NIS office to the MPs, knowing fully well the MPs cannot assist them with their housing repair. That is the roofs program. Like MP Perkis, I was asked to invite 3 constituents to the symbolic check handing over ceremony, which was held at the West Jamaica Conference in Mount Salem nearly 2 months ago. And if you go on that page, there's a gentleman from my constituency. His name, we call him Manawal. Manawal was cheesing with.
By the way, I hear that they're looking for Manawal and they can't find him. So Miss Burchell need to help us to find Manawal, because it seems like if Miss Burchell made up this name, because I understand that no man a wall no live there. Nobody that nobody know who this mother wall is. You understand me? I understand that nobody know who man a wall. Man a wall, if you're listening to the program, can somebody please help us find man a wall? Because I understand that this is a made up story by Birchall.
With me and the minister with a check saying $500,000. I asked Manawal to come with me that day and to help the minister.
I understand that not a thing goes so. No Manawal. You know, Miss Angela Brownberg said that the minister was in Finland. the minister is having a field day because the minister was at his office, and now Miss Birchall is coming up with a Manawal. Well, we soon find Manawal. Oh boy.
To show that the program is working, and we went in good faith. Manawal has not even received a text message up to this.
They can't text Manawal because there's no one. There's Manawal. Manawal. Hey boy, I tell you something. Anyway, listen. How do we actually judge? Jesus, boy, I tell you something. The people are good. How do we actually judge a country's recovery after disaster? Not emotionally, not politically, but structurally. I beg you. Manawal, boy, I tell you something. Birchall, I'd never know say you're so good. I challenge Miss Birchall to produce Manawal. Tell Manawal. I challenge Miss Birchall. If anybody near Manawal in southern St. James, come forward. Boy, I tell you, it's all in Miss Birchall's mind. Huh? Oh my goodness gracious me. I don't have the time to go through all of that. It's 7:45. I tell you. Boy, and I don't know. I don't know at all. I don't know. Let me see if I can move down. Let me move back up to that and tell you what is happening. Because if we are to assess Jamaica's performance after what has been described as the most severe disaster in over a century, then we must use the same frameworks the world uses, the same matrix applied by institutions like the World Bank and global disaster agencies. And the first thing you have to look at is the speed of relief mobilization. How quickly did help reach people? How quickly did help reach people? And this is measured in time to first disbursement, coverage of affected households, scale of financial support. In Jamaica's case, over $10 billion distributed under the ROOF program. It's not just a number. That's not just a number, you know. It's a signal of the capacity of the state. You don't find $10 billion without capacity. Now, last night I read something to you, and I think I should read it again. In 2004, the minister at the time was Donald Buchanan. And Mr. Buchanan told the House that after Hurricane Ivan, that having decided on the quantum of assistance, notice the word quantum of assistance. Thank you, Soji. You know, so I saw a brother on the line talking about I soon get something to laugh after. Man, I don't want to answer you. I don't want to answer you, you know. Because you think say me are somebody to play with. Mind yourself here. Careful. I laugh when I want to laugh. Don't joke with me. I don't know. Anyway, brother. Anyway. The quantum of assistance for affected persons. Our next challenge was to decide on the system of distribution. This is the PNP's Minister Buchanan. He's now deceased. So they had to first of all decide on the quantum of the assistance. And then the next challenge was to decide the system of assistance. Which would ensure, as far as possible, that the funds allocated are used for the purposes intended. He said that on closer examination and discussion, it was agreed that the voucher system method of payment was not adequate given the present circumstances. For one, many of the affected persons have already started to repair and rebuild their homes with funds loaned to them through whatever means. We have therefore decided to pay these assistance grants with checks, which will be cashed by beneficiaries and which will give them the flexibility to make optimum use of the funds in the present circumstances, Minister Buchanan said. He further informed that the list of beneficiaries from each constituency would be given to each member of parliament, and for each parish, the local authority for effective monitoring. Mr. Buchanan stressed that the assistance was not intended to replace totally destroyed units or to compensate to the level of loss sustained as, listen carefully, government is not an insurer of buildings. It is assisting persons to put their lives back together. Now, all of a sudden, the government is not to assist people put their lives back together. The government is to do it. You see the hypocrisy? You see the hypocrisy of these people? When you are in power, Mark Jefferson Golding, Dayton Campbell, Nekesha Burchell, Ian Hales, Dwayne Vaz, Miss Perkis, all of you that gathered there yesterday, all of a sudden, it is the government's responsibility. Said Professor Floyd Morris. Were you not a part of this government in 2003, sir? And it gets worse. Persons whose houses were totally destroyed would receive $20,000. You know how much the government is giving to persons whose house are destroyed today? 500,000. You know how much the PNP gave? 20,000. Now I asked Harry to apply inflation to that and tell us how much it is in today's money. I can give those figures to you. $20,000 the comrades gave. And the comrades made the people know that them not responsible to replace them house. Because them not an insurer. What they were doing is assisting people to put their lives together. And I tell you this, Mr. Buchanan was right. Mr. Buchanan was right. He is correct that the government is not an insurer of buildings. But why was the PNP right in 2003, but Andrew Holness is wrong in 2025? You know, sister, the comrades, you know, sister, the PNP are hypocrites, man. This type of inconsistency is to be exposed. $500,000 compared to $20,000. Under Holness, people get 500,000. Under PJ, they get 20,000. While persons whose houses were severely damaged would receive $7,500. And that the PNP give them $7,500. Holness is giving $250,000. The PNP gives $7,500. Meanwhile, a grant of $5,000 would be paid out for other damage. How much is Holness giving? Can somebody help me with that? $5,000 today. Can buy a bag of cement. This is where we are coming from, Jamaica. This is where we are coming from. And we are $75,000. $75,000. The least somebody I get. And remember, you know, I know Uncle 75,000 never get, you know. Because through their members of parliament, the members of parliament had already gotten, in some cases, $10 million and more to help the people. So you contrast that. $10 billion. That's capacity. Okay? Compare this to Haiti. After the 2010 earthquake, large portions of aid took months. Not talking about rebuilding, aid. Months to reach the citizens of Haiti. If you are listening to me in Jamaica, some are too political. It's like when you drink orange tea. When you drink orange tea, or when you drink orange lemonade. When you too partisan. A lot of too partisan. You are being unfair fear. And it's only because your party not in a power. That's it. Nothing to do with fairness, pragmatism. Uno is blind. And quite frankly, some of you are wicked. Uno wicked. Listen to me. Minister Vaz was at the government press conference today, post-cabinet. Almost 100% of Jamaica have backlight. Sometimes I wonder if we shouldn't divide Jamaica in a two. Maybe we should have just divide the country in a two. And make the hypocrite them stay upon one side. And the forward thinking Jamaicans stay upon the other side. Somehow uno terrible. There were in Haiti months before the citizens got aid. Not one person in Jamaica died of hunger after the worst hurricane we have had in 100 years. Not one person died of hunger. As a matter of fact, what food get down in that place there? Uno is a set of ungrateful people. And it's a pity I don't have the time tonight to dissect this as fully as I want to do it. In Puerto Rico, after Hurricane Maria, there were massive delays in aid. Puerto Rico. And it was described as a defining failure. When you compare Jamaica, and I did the research today, to Haiti, Puerto Rico, even the United States of America, Jamaica's response demonstrated relative efficiency in liquidity deployment, getting cash and materials into citizens' hands quickly within 2 days after the worst hurricane we have ever had in our history. Helicopters were landing in Western Jamaica full with food for the people. His Holiness blow off the roof of our head? His Holiness send the hurricane? You think it's the Prime Minister where caused the damage? You think the Prime Minister is Jesus Christ, that him can snap him finger and put on back your roof? The very PNP report on the GIS website suggests that you can't move without having a system. Secondly, a country is not recovered when speeches are made. A country recovers when roads are cleared. Let me ask you a question. Is there one road in Jamaica that is not cleared? Hypocrites, answer. Bad mind people, answer the question. People will drink orange water, answer the question. Is there one road in Jamaica that is uncleared? Tell me nowhere. Tell me where there. Is there one community in Jamaica where there is no electricity? You know how you measure restoration? The percentage of utilities restored within weeks. Is there one school in Jamaica that is closed because of the hurricane? Tell me now. Nikisha Burchell. Tell me. Is there one hospital in Jamaica that is out of service? You can't turn up at that hospital because of the hurricane? What about transportation? Do we have gas? Do we have food on the island? My God Almighty. Tomato is $30 and $40 a pound. Scallion coming out of St. Elizabeth, we can't manage it. Cabbage. How do you measure recovery? After Hurricane Maria, parts of Puerto Rico were without power for months. And Minister Vaz, in weeks, lent Jamaica Public Service Company $150 million to put on back light after light after light. In the Philippines, after they had a typhoon, their infrastructure was paralyzed. Contrast that to Jamaica. The day after Hurricane Melissa, I had electricity. And water. The day, no, is it the day after or 2 days after? If you are living in St. Catherine, Clarendon, Kingston, Manchester, how long it took you to get back light? Consider that it was the worst hurricane in 100 years. Not government responsibility. Government can only respond to the crisis. They not cause the crisis. Look at Jamaica's size. A country with under 3 million people. 328 days for electricity to be restored in Puerto Rico. You know the size of Puerto Rico? Consider Jamaica, a small developing state, under 3 million people. And every striking citizen of Jamaica can get back light in under 6 months. The majority in under 3 months. That matters, you know, guys. That matters, man. Come on, take off your green, take off your orange hat. Then when you look at, let me tell you something. Look at the macroeconomic stability. Here is where emotion must give way to economics. And I beg you tonight. My shirt is blue. And I don't have on a green cap. And I beg you tonight, let's put the politics aside for a little bit. Draw your chair. And let's just talk. Let's just talk fear. Let's just talk fear. We don't have any elections for maybe another 3.5, 4 years. We don't have no elections. Let's be reasonable. A disaster tests whether a country maintains currency stability, avoids runaway inflation and protects investor confidence. Those three things. If a nation collapses economically after a storm, then recovery has failed at a structural level. Maybe the labor rights don't like me when I say this, but I believe, and I don't know if Protecting Jamaica is in the chat, that the Jamaica Labour Party must talk more and must structure its public relations more towards helping people understand there is a propaganda machine in Jamaica, and it is well-oiled, and it is efficient, and it is effective. And sometimes it's not about what people, it's not what people see now, it's what they believe. Lies are being told in Jamaica. And it is a powerful propaganda machine. And it must be stopped. And it can only be stopped with effective, properly researched and presented facts to the Jamaican people. The Jamaican people have been going to the polls with misinformation. It is this is a society that is and when you have powerful people in media, if a nation collapses economically after a storm, then recovery has failed at the structural level. I drove to Trelawney a couple of weeks ago, and I never know. So we had a hurricane in Jamaica. Every road patch. Every light post is back up. The farmers are in their ground planting yam. The roofs are back on. Stop misleading the Jamaican people. Jamaica has retained, listen, let's call it relative macroeconomic stability, continued investor engagement, ongoing private sector activity. Ask Grace Kennedy and Lasco. And with the bakery name we sell bread. The World Bank has observed and have described aspects of our recovery as world leading. Is the World Bank lying? There are countries where disasters trigger debt spirals, economic contraction. Parts of Central America. I said, go away. Is what about I want this man? And you know what happened in Parliament yesterday is the most overlooked. And it is the most important index. Even when I was preparing to come on here tonight, I have to maintain my listeners. So I looked at the NARA something and I said, why can I maintain an audience teaching them about NARA? Will they stay with me? And listeners, when I get to NARA, don't move. Don't flip the screen. Because you will listen. Because for years you have been misled. Some of you labor rights are talking, you know. You have been misled. Because your attention is all over the place. You have to understand what your government is doing and the purpose of what they do and why they do it. Because you need to go on the PNP's platforms and take them on. And you must fight them when they come here. When they come here, you must allow them to come here so that we can school them in what is right and what is truth. We can build the country upon lies and misinformation and propaganda. There is no flipping of a switch to fix everything. Things require a system. Even God, when he was building the earth, the world, took 6 days. And you know, God could have done it in 1 day because he only needs to speak and let it be. But why did he take 6 days? Stop blame government, man, and be fair. This is where the Naira bill becomes central because it represents an attempt to move from ad hoc recovery, which is the PNP. That's how the PNP would recover, you know, ad hoc. Give everybody $50 million. And to many Jamaicans, that sounds, oh, so good. My MP have $50 million to spend. And the MP pocket 40 million, yes? And 10 million give to the supporters that support that party. That's not how you run a country. Take out $1 billion out of the NIR. Just give it away. And later on, we are strapped with taxes and debt. We have to break the cycle, guys. We have to break this striking cycle. We have to break it. We have been here for too long. The Stone Age didn't end, you know, because people run out of stone. You have to find new ways of doing things. And I told you last night, that the Prime Minister deserves the country's support. I told you that last night. And I'm not saying that as a political statement. I'm saying that as a Jamaican. Because me no fool. And what I have seen happening in Jamaica today, this country is on the right path. Take it from me. This country is on the right path. The path of reconstruction, the path of recovery. And if we farm fool and miss this moment, we are sorry. I have said here before that in 1989, after the 1970s turbulence, Mr. Siaga had a very difficult task. Things were not the best in 1980. We were a country coming out of colonialism. We got independence in 1962. Yes, very undereducated society. Many of our people untrained, socially dispossessed. The haves and the haves not. A divided society with, you know, egalitarianism, classism, socialism, all type of isms. But the structural adjustments that had to be made in the economy in the 80s caused some challenges. Some people had to be laid off. And Jamaica farmed the fool and vote out Siaga. And you can all talk what you want to talk and go talking about neighbor this and neighbor that. I am past that stage now. If you want to know who I am, go and look at my birth certificate. That is who I am. You want to call me what you want to call. I don't business with that. I am going to tell you the truth. Jamaica farmed the fool. And they go and they vote out Siaga. And that is History will record that that was the worst decision ever to be made in Jamaica, because it introduced 18 and a half years of the worst times in Jamaica. It was worse than the 70s. And you know why it was worst? Because it was during the time when the world was resetting. And Jamaica, strategically located, failed every striking test. Crime ballooned, unemployment went through the roof, prostitution increased in this country. Oh my God. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. There are some people in Jamaica, gone in bed tonight, they should be in jail. They should be in jail for what they did to this country. It was almost like a hold down take away. You know, rape? It was almost like rape. The greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. Think about that. The transfer of wealth. You know how much Jamaica tonight has suffered still because of that? I want to come thinking that somehow Mr. Holness can listen to me now. NARA represents an attempt to move from ad hoc recovery to institutionalized preparedness, from a fragmented response to coordinated systems. This is what countries like Japan, and for those of you who want to study industrialization, go and look at Japan. Japan is one of the most industrialized countries in the world. And you know, Japan was involved in World War II. Japan was the first country to experience an atomic bomb. 2 atomic bombs were dropped on Japan. One in Hiroshima. And if you go to Hiroshima today, it is one of the finest cities in Japan. And I'm forgetting what the name of the other city is. Someone you can just put it in the chat for the listeners. Japan leads the world in terms of technology, you know. Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And if Japan had the land mass of maybe Russia or the United States, it probably would be, you know, among the top countries. By the way, most of the cars you see coming into Jamaica, they come out of Japan. Japan have mastered, after disaster, they turn trauma into policy architecture. If you really want to study how a society operates effectively and efficiently and socially, I don't even know the word. Study Japan. And this is why, you know, guys, I am beginning to be more and more impressed with Andrew Wholeness, because I think Wholeness takes a broader world view. You know, when you see things like Nara coming to, the question is not whether Nara is perfect. The question is whether it reflects adaptive governance. And if you apply academic standards to Nara, you realize that the government is onto something very good. Now we come to the most difficult measurement, the one no spreadsheet can fully capture. Are people actually rebuilding their lives? Are people actually rebuilding their lives? This includes housing restoration, returning to work, psychological recovery, community stability, because a nation can look stable on paper and still feel broken on the ground. And yet across Jamaica, we see something that is undeniable. Roofs are being replaced. Small businesses are back up. Children are back in school. This is not abstract. This is social recovery in motion. So how do you grade Jamaica? How do you grade it? If we are honest, not political, not partisan, but disciplined, the answer is this: Jamaica's recovery is not perfect. It's not perfect, but it is high performing relative to its constraints. Jamaica has done very, very good. I challenge anybody who have a God in them to come up here and tell me tonight that we have not done well in recovery. It is not true. Lift up, man, and give Jamaica a chance to breathe. And I know my time is going, and I don't have a lot of time, but I have to take the time and point and tell you something tonight, because an injustice is being done to our people. It's not perfect recovery. It is not perfect anywhere in the world. If America had the same hurricane, they couldn't have done as well as we did. Canada couldn't have done as well as we did. Jamaica is a small island developing state. We don't have helicopters in the measure of America. We are highly vulnerable to climate shocks. We have limited fiscal space caused by the PNP. And yet across the major indices, in terms of speed, strong. In terms of infrastructure recovery, strong. In terms of macroeconomic stability, strong. In terms of institutional reform, congratulations, Prime Minister Wholeness. Bravo. Bravo to the Prime Minister to have the vision, to understand that part of the recovery requires institutional reform. That's leadership. And then the human recovery, visible and ongoing. 6 months after the hurricane, a bill is introduced in Parliament to strengthen Jamaica's path going forward. That places Jamaica not in crisis, but in a credible recovery with forward momentum. The country is moving forward. And anybody who stand up in Jamaica and tell the Jamaican people, say, Jamaica not moving forward, then if you come out of the country, cancel them, cancel them birthright and send them away. It is not true. It is not true. Don't give people that impression. We have had a bad hurricane. So what of criticism? Criticism is necessary in a democracy. Yes, we criticize because criticism is what keeps government accountable. But there's a difference. There is a difference between critique that is grounded in measurements and narrative driven by politics. And what I am hearing is a narrative that is politically driven. And if we are serious as a people, we must learn to separate the two, because a country that cannot accurately assess itself cannot improve itself. If you can't assess yourself, you can't improve yourself. And what I want the Jamaican people to do is to assess themselves. So that you can improve yourself. Give credit where credit is due, man. That don't mean that you can't vote for your party. When the election come, you want to go vote for your party, you vote for your party. Don't lie. Telling the people that rain a fall when none a fall, coming to press conference, calling all people's name, and them don't exist. There is something deeply philosophical about recovery, you know. A disaster strips a nation down to its essence. It reveals the strength of its institutions, the resilience of its people, the clarity of its leadership. And what Jamaica has shown, imperfectly but undeniably, is that it is a country learning not just to endure shocks, but to organize against them. My God, man, we are not an old nation, you know. 67 years? Are we 65 or 67? 1962. Somebody calculate it for me. This is not failure. This is not failure. It is evolution. It is evolution, and there is something about Jamaica that should inspire every citizen. I mean, if we are to judge this moment fairly, let's not judge it loudly. Let's be truthful. We must say Jamaica has not just survived. It has responded with a level of coordination, of stability, and forward thinking that places this country among the most competent recoveries in the developing world. Oh my God, I need a drink. Moderator, can I take a break? Let me tell you something. Listen to me. We need better leadership from the opposition. We need better leadership. Jamaica has not just survived, guys. It has responded with a level of coordination. Big up Darrell Vaz, big up Pernell Charles, big up Dana Morris Dixon, big up the Prime Minister, big up the Education Minister, big up, guys. You have done well. You have done well. And to say that is not political, it is to recognize Floyd Green, Faval. Huh? Jamaica is recognized as competent. Competent when you compare Jamaica to every other country that has handled a hurricane. My research shows that we are in the top 5. The top 5. And we're a small developing state. How comes Jamaica, with its small, how comes? That is something worth understanding. Not politically. Anybody go a press conference or say anything else is dishonest. Dishonest. This is not a perfect society. It's not a perfect recovery. Who said it was? Which country in the world, having suffered the devastation Jamaica suffered, could recover at the pace that we are recovering? Oh, what a people. Put your hands together for the people of Jamaica. What a people we are. What a people we are. What a people. Congratulations, Jamaica. You are showing the world who you are. And therefore, we need to move beyond the noise. We need to move beyond the politics. And there is a dimension of recovery that no budget capture, no policy can legislate, and no spreadsheet can measure. It's not physical. It is not economic. It is psychological. Because after a disaster, a nation is not only rebuilding homes, it is rebuilding belief. And belief is fragile. And what I see the opposition doing is destroying the belief of the people of Jamaica. And I say to my brothers and my sisters tonight, go and believe in yourself. Go and believe in yourself. Don't listen to no politician. Don't listen to them. They're not speaking the truth. They're not telling you the truth. They are only interested in themselves. They're not interested in you. Don't believe in them. That set of people there yesterday, they don't love you. They don't love you. They don't like you. They don't believe in you. When a storm passes, you see, it leaves more than debris, you know. It leaves disorientation. It leaves doubt. It leaves a quiet question sitting in the minds of ordinary people. Are we going to be okay? Storms don't only take away roofs and furniture. It takes away belief. It takes away the quiet hope of individuals. It's displacement, Dams. It's psychological. It's mental. You know, there are people who lose their jobs that can't go back out to work. There are people who have accidents and can't drive again. There are people who lose their marriage and they can't get married again, you know, because they've lost their ontological self, their being. They're not okay. And when a storm takes off your roof and leave water in your house, you haven't only lost a roof, you know. You've lost something about yourself. That question is not answered only by zinc sheets and lumber. It's answered by leadership. And this is where leadership comes in. Oh my God. We're lacking in leadership from that team, man. I don't want to sound too political, man. I don't want to sound like that, but I know it. We can do better than this. Not just leaders, not just what leaders do, but what they say. Not just policy, it's tone. Not just critique, it's responsibility. You don't understand that people not only need roof, they need back themselves, they need back them lives. Some people have not been able to have sex because their libidinous drive has been taken away by the storm. And in moments like these, the role of political leadership, both government and opposition alike, is not merely to compete. It is to stabilize the national psyche. Because people take their emotional cues from those in authority. Oh my God, when I listened to Mark Golden yesterday, I said to myself, oh my God, please, Jesus, deliver us from this man. That's not leadership. Nothing inspirational, nothing that you can hold on to say, yes, wholeness. Yes, wholeness. Yes, golden. Yes, golden. Nothing. No inspiration. No hope to hold on to. People take their cue when you look on the man. You don't see nothing there that say, oh yes, boy. Give me a little hope, no man. Give me a little hope. Give me a little hope, Golden, that we can build back the country. You are right, you know, Golden. You are right. For your bread butter. Stop tearing down the people, man. That is not theory. It's human nature. In times of uncertainty, we look upward to interpret reality. And when leadership speaks, it does not just inform. It's not only information that you look into them for, you know. It is condition, it's perception. And perception, it is that shapes action. When a leader speaks, the people must move. If the message, it is the message that you send, and you send it by your body language, how you dress, how you look, how you come across. The people are hurting. You can't go there, go make them feel down and depressed and worse than they are. Lift them up. Give them hope. People do not just criticize the state. When you criticize the state at a time like this, people begin to withdraw themselves from it. That is the danger of what was done yesterday. The system is failing. Nothing is working. Recovery is a myth. When you do that, people hesitate to rebuild. They doubt whether effort is worthwhile. And they lose the internal drive to act. This is what psychology calls the collapse of personal agency. The belief that one's action can produce meaningful outcomes. And once that collapses, recovery slows. Not because of policy failure, but because of human hesitation. So we have to confront an uncomfortable idea. That leadership that is overly driven by partisan advantage in a moment of national vulnerability can unintentionally undermine the very recovery it claims to care about. That is the mistake that the PNP is making. Partisan advantage in a moment of national vulnerability. Someone like Ms. Nikisha Burchell should never be allowed to speak at a press conference like that. Never. When I listened to that lady yesterday, I said this lady is out of touch with what I don't even know. Maybe I should just, I don't know. Because it doesn't mean that criticism is wrong, you know. Criticism is necessary. Criticism sharpens governance. It exposes blind spots. But there's a difference between critique that strengthens the nation. Listen to me, Golden and Burchell. Critique that strengthens the nation. Jamaica is bigger than the PNP. Jamaica is bigger than the JLP. Critique that strengthens the nation and rhetoric that destabilizes it. One is responsible, The other is corrosive. And in Jamaica's case, this tension is very deep. Very deep. Because we are not just any society. And I want you to take your time and listen to me now. Listen to me. We are not just any society. And this is what Mr. Golding miss. We are a people still carrying the psychological inheritance of colonialism. A history that for generations conditioned us to doubt our institutions, to question our capacity, to see systems as distant rather than empowering. That is the Jamaican reality. That legacy does not disappear. It lingers in the society, quietly shaping how we respond to crises. I see some people coming up in the chat, being very rude, being very disrespectful. It's the same thing I'm talking about. We are a society that is still carrying the psychological inheritance of colonialism. So when narratives of failure dominate, especially if they are exaggerated and unbalanced, they do not land on neutral ground. They land on a psyche already wrestling with trust, wrestling with confidence, and wrestling with ownership of the state. That's why politics is so important. And what that does in that context, negativity does not just stand on its own. It acts as more than a criticism of the government. It reawakens old doubts about whether the system can ever truly work for us. What Golding did yesterday was to attack the system, not the government, the system. And he has placed doubt on whether the system can truly work. Wrong. When a people are already struggling with their past, you don't want to do that. This is why leadership in a time like this must rise above instinct. It must resist the easy pull of political gain and instead embrace something more difficult. And here is it, brothers and sisters. Nation first communication. That means that you acknowledge the shortcomings, yes, but also recognize progress. You have to critique without eroding confidence, challenge without collapsing hope. Because hope is not a soft idea. It is a functional tool of the recovery. Hope is more than the $10 billion. Hope is what we want. Give the people hope, brethren. Hope is what gets a man to rebuild his shop. Hope is what gets a mother to send her children back to school. Hope is what allows community to organize, to restart. Hope. Remove that and no amount of funding can compensate. You could have put $10 billion into it. If you don't have hope, if you don't give the people hope, no money can compensate for that. More money, more hope. More money, more hope. More money, more hope. Is hope people need. Give them hope, man. Don't take away their hope. Don't criticize their hope away. Let them feel that something is happening and they're part of it. There's a danger before us, Jamaicans. If leadership becomes too anchored in partisan framing, it risks creating a population that is more cynical than constructive, more doubtful than determined, more passive than participatory. And that is a far greater threat than any storm. The real storm that Jamaica faces right now is a storm of negativity coming out of the opposition. That is the storm. It's worse than Melissa. And I put it to you tonight that is the storm that we need to attack, the negativity. You give a man hope, he moves mountain. You make him feel hopeless, he becomes a burden to you. Jamaica does not need silence. And it does not need blind agreement. But it does need balance. It needs leadership on all sides that understands the weight of words in fragile moment. Nikisha Burchell don't understand that. Nikisha Burchell don't understand no weight of no words. She says she did communication. I don't know nothing about that. Because had she done communication, I don't even know. I don't know. Recovery is not only built with policies, guys. Recovery is not only built with policies. It is built with belief. And Mr. Holness, thank God, thank you, sir. Thank you for giving the people of Jamaica hope and belief in themselves. You've done a great job. It's more than the $10 billion that you found. You can't value that. You see, because if you shake a person's belief, it's far, you can't restore them, you know. You can't put them back them roof and them still have doubts. I can put on your roof and let you are destroyed. If I don't fix you, your roof. Because if you fix me, I can put on back no one roof. If I have hope, if I believe in myself, I can fix my own roof. I can do it. All I need is somebody to believe in me. Does Mr. Golden believe in the people of Jamaica? Don't beat them down. Give them hope. Give them hope. Give the people hope. Let them rise. They'll put on back their roofs, you know. The ontological agency, the God-given impetus lies in every man to rise above the storm. But he needs a hand, and the hand that helps him up is not always a check. It is to look in his eyes dead and say to him, sir, you can do this. And I'll be here to stand with you. You need a little help? I'll help you along. Don't make him feel as if nothing can go on. You're killing him. You're killing the people of Jamaica. You're killing them. That's why they're in the school. That's why they're sitting there. They haven't given up. Don't shake the belief of the people. Ten minutes to 9 o'clock. You know, there's a line. There's a line between responsible opposition and destructive opportunism. Responsible opposition and destructive opportunism. And what we are witnessing is destructive opportunism. And it is in moments of national vulnerability that this line matters most, you know. It's deeply consequential. Because the statement bears repeating and it deserves to be examined with seriousness. Leadership that is overly driven by partisan advantage in a moment of national vulnerability can unintentionally undermine the very recovery it claims to care about. Let us sit with that and let that sit with you, not emotionally, not politically, analytically, analyze it. Because in the aftermath of hurricane, or the hurricane, particular one of this historic scale, a country enters a psychological delicate phase. People are not just rebuilding structures, they are rebuilding confidence in the future. And confidence is not self-generating. Hear me, listeners? Confidence is not self-generating. If I may touch something here that is unrelated and you may find it funny, but it is not funny. It is true. It is actually true. A man needs confidence to maintain an erection. He may get it by, you know how he gets it, but if he don't have no confidence, he can lose it, you know. Confidence is not self-generating. And you have what is called premature ejaculation. That's a confidence thing too, you know. Because, yeah. And you know, women, ladies, you can help, you know. You know, you can help because if you don't make him feel confident that he's able, then he not go get it. Or if he get it, he can't keep it. A lot of it is confidence. But if he is confident, then it affects his performance. Yes, the 2-minute man or the 1-minute man can become a 5-minute man with confidence. Confidence is not self-generated. It is influenced heavily. You see? and leadership can give people confidence or make them ejaculate before time. Premature ejaculators. No, I tell you, this includes the government. Yes. You don't want your people to be ejaculating too prematurely. You know, the opposition, particularly one as central to Jamaica's political life as the People's National Party, have to be careful. Have to be very careful that you are not developing a nation of premature ejaculators. Because in that regard, you can't reproduce. The role of the opposition is not to become silent. That would be unhealthy. But neither is the opposition's role to frame reality in a way that amplifies despair beyond what the facts justify. Because when critique becomes disproportionate to observable progress, it crosses from accountability into distortion. And distortion has consequences. So then, finally, if in press conferences and public statements, the dominant message becomes recovery is failing, systems are ineffective, leadership is fundamentally inadequate, even while there is visible evidence of rebuilding, financial disbursement, and institutional response, then what is being produced is not just criticism, it is a counter-narrative of collapse. Neighbors, I have a lot more to say on this. But here's how I leave you. Perhaps the most difficult truth is this. The opposition probably is weakening the very ground the nation needs to stand on. And they don't even know that they're doing it. They are weakening the very ground the nation needs to stand on.